Welcome back. President Trump is set to meet in Beijing today with Chinese President Xi Jinping. He just touched down on the tarmac moments ago, and this meeting comes as tensions continue to flare between the U.S. and Iran, which is one of China's close trading partners. So here to discuss what is at stake, the timing of this summit, what could come out of it, is Stephen Caliendo with North Central College. Thank you for being here, Professor.
It's great to be with you.
I want to start off by, we just showed everybody the pictures. There were some like big-time pomp and circumstance.
They do it.
So why is that? Why the red carpet hospitality?
Look, there's a couple reasons. First of all, it's a very important thing in Chinese culture to make sure people feel welcome. There's a cultural component of it. But the other thing is, and this is really important, is President Trump really responds to that. He really responds to feeling important, feeling like he's being welcome. When he took the trip to England, we saw a very similar sort of thing where he was really rolled out the red carpet for him, and he eats it up. And so I think that there's an advantage in negotiating with President Trump when he's feeling particularly proud, and he certainly must be this morning because that was a lovely sight.
It was quite the welcome he got. All right, so what do you predict? I want to ask you kind of a two-part question here to start this off. That the issue is that they're going to basically, it's going to be the kind of the softball, if there's like a softball issue to connect over, and on the flip side, what's going to be the most awkward kind of tension-filled topic that they're going to discuss? Can you kind of go over both those dynamics?
Sure, I can, and I think, it really, Anthony, has shifted since this meeting was set because of the Iran war.
Right.
And so the trade is the most important thing, the trade imbalance that the president has been really upset about for a very long time. The tariffs, of course, that the U.S. imposed on China. We're importing less from China than we have in a long time. The question is, are they harmed by that? They seem to have found other trading partners around the world to export their goods to. And so if that's the case, they're not going to be feeling like they need to negotiate quite so hard. Iran, though, puts a wrinkle in all of this, right? Because as you pointed out, it's an important trading partner for China. And President Trump certainly understands he's got to get out of this. We've got to get out of this conflict in Iran, and it's going to be very difficult to do without the help of the Chinese.
What would be a way that the Chinese could help resolve the situation?
They could tell Iran that they got to open the Strait of Hormuz. That's got to be the first thing, because that's really what's affecting the economy so much, and that's what's hurting President Trump here at home.
Okay, and what is preventing China from taking that role, from actually being vocal about it and putting pressure on Iran?
Well, I don't know that they're so incentivized to do that. In other words, they are worried that they're not getting enough oil, the oil that they used to get. But I think that they feel like, I would imagine that they feel like they have the United States on the ropes a little bit here, because they understand what the political pressure is at home, and that the world hasn't rallied behind the United States in this war in Iran. It was sort of instigated without a coalition,
right? And
there hasn't been a lot of European support for that. And don't forget, one of the first things that happened in this administration is that we pulled out of USAID, and what happened then was that China really moved in to fill the void. In many, many developing countries where we were providing aid, we left. China has moved in, and so they see themselves as sort of strategically putting themselves in place to take over what the United States has done for a very long time.
Another part of this delegation isn't just members of the cabinet; it's a huge group of tech CEOs and other business leaders: Elon Musk, Tim Cook, many others. What is the implication there, and what do we need to accomplish in terms of economic issues, cybersecurity, AI, those kinds of things?
Absolutely, cybersecurity, AI, but also raw minerals, right? I mean, a lot of this is about what kind of trading can happen to make sure that both countries can continue to improve technologically. We talk a lot in this country about wanting to beat China. Certainly, China has a feeling that they want to beat the United States. And in the AI race, this is all still very new, but it takes a lot of hardware, it takes a lot of minerals to make sure that happens, and it takes some appropriate trade practices.
We are almost out of time, Professor, but do you expect any changes in terms of the American stance with regard to Taiwanese independence?
I don't, to be honest, I don't know how much it's even going to come up. It should come up a lot, because this 4 years ago when we started thinking about Russia and Ukraine, this is what the question that came, well, if Putin can do it, what's going to stop China from taking Taiwan?
Yeah, just going in.
This is absolutely what's the thing. But I think that question is going to get pushed to the side. The other question is pushed to the side is all the human rights violations that China has been engaged in. Previous presidents, when they meet with China, talk about this a lot. I don't think President Trump is that interested because he's more interested in economics. And secondly, I think the war is going to overshadow that.
We'll continue to keep an eye on it. Thanks for the context. Appreciate it, Professor. As always, good to see you here in studio. Appreciate it.